he has a great window into what housing is doing and will do, perhaps. What'd you make of his comments?
Yeah, he does. I mean, the numbers have been very weak lately, which surprised me a little bit in January because suddenly the stars seemed to align. You know, we had a nice stock market recovery through the month, simultaneously interest rates going down. That's a prescription for a boost in new home construction and residential sales, but we just haven't seen it yet. So I think that's a little surprising. But you know, this looks to me like this is Buffett terrain. There's some, if you're looking for values out there, the housing sector looks to me like one that's pretty depressed. Given, in theory, it should start picking up.
So you think it maybe the challenges of finding something to buy are not as great as he makes it seem?
Well, I've been wondering about that. I mean, we all know that at any given moment, something is a bargain out there. And he is a value investor. Stocks are reasonably high, but they're not as high as they were at their peak. Certainly December, if you're a value investor, I would have thought might have opened up some interesting possibilities. I know he said that he had a big deal in sight that didn't come together. Maybe that was kind of based on some attractive valuations in December. But, you know, we see today Danaher found something that they thought was a good buy from GE, a company which Buffett knows very well. And of course I wondered, well, did he look at that? You know, why wasn't that an attractive proposition? So I think the deals are out there if you have the guts to step up to it.
I wonder how murky the data is right now. I mean, we're getting a GDP read that's been delayed later this week. We obviously had a string of weaker than expected numbers last week. I mean, we had this government shutdown. We had all that volatility in the stock market, all of this trade uncertainty. I wonder how much of it is temporary and how much of it, is potentially a sign that we're going to see some longer term weakening here in the U.S. I mean, do you have any sort of inkling or gauge when you look across your universe?
Well, I think one of the key questions that you hit upon are all the things that you mentioned, temporary or longer term, and we still don't know about that. They could be temporary. We get a China deal. If we get stability in the stock market and continuing, maybe even hitting new highs, if we get continued low interest rates like that, then those problems are all going to be temporary. Those are all very positive, both for economic growth, for future earnings, and in turn for investors and for the stock market. And I think we've been tilting towards the idea that they are temporary, which is one reason why the stock market has done as well as it has. But it's worth remembering, we don't know yet for sure. And once we do know for sure, it'll be too late, because that then will all be baked in to the stock prices. So you have to just make some intelligent bets here. My own gut feeling is things are, they're looking pretty good.
Does the Kraft episode reveal certain liabilities in Buffett's model?
I think so. I think two glaring ones. First, which quite a few people have talked about, is his idea of what's the competitive advantage, what's the moat around this company, which was always its consumer brands, and he's a big believer in the power of the brand. I don't know. We've got a new generation coming up here. I don't think you say the word Kool-Aid and they run to the refrigerator. Some of these things are getting pretty stale. I'm not sure that all brands are created equal. Coca-Cola may be an almost unique category. So I think the brand strategy is in question, and he's kind of acknowledged that. Secondly, more fundamentally, Kraft Heinz is now under investigation from the SEC for potential accounting irregularities. And when Buffett wrote in his letter that he's seen many issues like this over the years where management decides, oh, let's just tweak the numbers this one time and then we'll catch up the next quarter. Well, that is the road to ruin for many companies. And of course, he didn't say anything about this being Heinz Kraft, but I wonder, in the back of his mind, is he worried about something like this? And again, we don't know yet. All we know is that they're looking. But that goes to the question that he's always put so much importance on, which is the integrity of management. He has always said he only wants to invest in companies that are not only well-run, but that are ethically run, where because of the character of the people in charge, you don't have to worry about something like this. And it seems to me, at the very least, he's got to be worrying about this and wondering about what horses he put his money on here.
Didn't quite verbalize it today, but we'll see how his thinking evolves, how the whole story evolves.
Yeah, well, I think there's going to be a lot more coming on that. And it is a fascinating story. I mean, to see a stock of a company like that drop that much in one day is a shock.